All right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the webinar Pursuing the Osteopathic Certification Pathway. My name is Allie Blakewell, and I will be your staff moderator for tonight. If you have any comments or logistical issues, please enter those in the chat function throughout the webinar, and I will be here to assist you. If you have a question during the webinar or the Q&A portion, please enter those into the Q&A box. This webinar will be recorded, and the recording will be sent out afterwards. Now, I would like to turn it over to Carrie Leo.
Hello, thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'd like to thank the ACOFP for inviting us to give an update on certification tonight. I'm Carrie Leo. I'm the Certification Director for the American Osteopathic Board of Family Physicians. And tonight I'm going to be sharing information on our Early Entry Initial Certification Examination, or EEIC, as we call it, as well as other certification opportunities available to osteopathic family physicians. So I want to share a brief overview of the AOBFP, which has about 14,000 active diplomates. We offer primary certification in family medicine and osteopathic manipulative treatment, or OMT. Additionally, certificates of added qualification, or CAQs, as they are commonly referred to, are available in geriatrics, addiction medicine, correctional medicine, hospice and palliative care medicine, pain medicine, sleep medicine, sports medicine, and undersea hyperbaric medicine. So let's move on to the focus of tonight's webinar, which is the Early Entry Initial Certification, or EEIC. An osteopathic resident that is currently enrolled in an ACGME accredited family medicine residency may be eligible for the EEIC if they've met certain requirements. DO residents must have completed 2 AOBFP in-service exams during their residency out of their 3 yearly in-service examinations in order to qualify for the EEIC. At the time of application, residents will be required to submit proof of taking 2 osteopathic in-service exams. Applicants will download a form that their program director will sign off on, indicating that they've completed these. The EEIC is a shortened initial certification exam taken during the final year of residency. Compared to the traditional initial certification exam that has 275 items, the EEIC only has 175 scored items. Another benefit of doing the EEIC is that it's taken earlier during the last year of residency. Usually it's in January, and when your skills are more fresh. So I'll review some important dates later in my presentation, but the next administration for the EEIC will be taking place January 15th through 29th of 2022. We just finished the second administration of the EEIC in January, testing just under 300 candidates. So the exam is also offered at a reduced price of $400 compared to the $500 traditional initial certification exam. So there's fewer items and it costs less money. It's a win-win. We've heard from residents they are excited to take a shorter exam and that it costs less. So residents also have the option, it's optional, to take the OMT performance exam in the spring, typically in March, of their final year of residency. So that by the end of June, when your residency ends, residents are finished with all of their certification requirements and are board certified as soon as the AOA receives their training complete information. This slide shows the 2 different pathways to certification that is offered by the AOBFP. First, you'll see the EEIC, where residents can obtain certification in family medicine through completing their cognitive, which is computer-based exam. Remember, this is the shortened exam with only 175 questions. Residents can then also take the OMT performance exam. With this combination, They will be certified in family medicine and OMT, osteopathic manipulative treatment. Or they can opt to only be certified in family medicine by completing only their computer-based exam. It's entirely up to you, whatever you prefer. Residents may also choose the traditional pathway. If a resident has not met the requirements of 2 ISE or ISE plus examinations, or let's say they've been out of residency for several years, candidates can receive 6 years of board eligibility, and that clock starts from when they completed residency. Then they can sit for the traditional pathway. That option includes the cognitive exam, but it is also the longer exam at 275 questions. They can also choose whether or not to take the OMT exam, and their certification options are in family medicine or in family medicine and osteopathic manipulative treatment. So now let's say either an EEIC or a traditional pathway physician chooses not to obtain certification in OMT and are certified in family medicine only. At any time, they may take the OMT performance exam, and upon passing the exam, they will obtain certification in family medicine and osteopathic manipulative treatment. Okay, the next administration of the EEIC will be January 15th through 29th. And applications opened up this week to sit for the exam. You can apply on the AOBFP website, and candidates will be asked to supply payment as well as documentation of having taken the 2 in-service exams. There will be a downloadable form available once the application is live, which it is right now, for residents to download and then submit electronically or print for your program director to sign off on. The next scheduled OMT performance exam will be held in conjunction with ACOFP's conference March 15th through 17th in Texas. The traditional certification exam will be held in April. Please check back on the AOBFP website for more information regarding the application deadlines for the spring OMT exam as we get closer to the conference. Okay. So that's just an overview of the dates, so you know when things are coming up. If you have any questions at all at any time, please feel free to reach out to us at aobfp@osteopathic.org. We are always happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
All right, next up, I'd like to turn it over to Paige Zielinski.
Hello, everyone. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Paige, and I'm the Program and Development Manager for the ACOFP Education and Research Foundation. The ACOFP Foundation works to promote osteopathic family leadership, improve public health, and advocate for greater awareness of osteopathic family medicine principles and practices. We know that well-trained osteopathic family physicians are in the best position to improve the health of patients and the communities they serve. We also know that now more than ever, we must ensure the future of osteopathic distinctiveness. And this is why in 2019, the foundation launched the Forging Our Osteopathic Future campaign with the goal of raising $2 million to financially support eligible residents that wish to take both portions of the AOBFP exam through an initial certification grant. The grant will award up to $1,400 for exam fees and travel expenses to residents who don't have complete funding support from their program to be used for the AOBFP exam. Here are some of the statistics that show that we recognize the burden that many residents face out of medical school. We know that student debt can be upwards of $250,000 and that the average time frame to pay off this debt is 13 years. Knowing that these burdens are reality, we feel that the $1,400 is a deserved grant to help ensure the future of osteopathic distinctiveness. So about the initial certification grant. The ACOFP Foundation will cover both practical and cognitive exam fees and up to $500 in travel reimbursements. This totals up to $1,400 per resident. To be eligible for the opportunity, you must be a third-year resident and a member of ACOFP planning to sit for both exams. If you're not an ACOFP member, it is free to join for residents. Applicants seeking both the EEIC and the traditional pathway are encouraged to apply for the grant. And to qualify, candidates must not receive financial support from the residency program sufficient to cover the cost of the AOB FP exam and travel. We do award partial grants though. Here's just a quick expansive look at our impact of the grant thus far. In 2020, the first year that we offered the initial certification grant, the foundation awarded 100 grants to third-year residents. In 2021, we increased our giving and we awarded 110 grants to residents in over 30 states, and we anticipate this number to continue to grow. So how do you apply? Step one is to actually register for both exams via the AOBFP website. Then you can visit the ACOFP Foundation website and apply for the initial certification grant. You'll be asked to submit your exam fees along with any estimated travel expenses of up to $500. After you've done these first two steps, the next step is to actually take the exam. After the exam period is concluded, we'll reach out from the ACOFP Foundation and ask for you to submit any of your outstanding exam receipts if you didn't do so with your initial application, and also any related travel expense receipts as well. And then finally, within 4 to 6 weeks after the exam has concluded, ACOFP will disperse the funds. The applications are open for both the fall and spring cycle right now. The fall deadline is the end of August, and then the spring cycle deadline is the very end of February. Please note that while we do accept late applications, we do encourage our applicants to submit early for the best chance of funding. You can also find all of this information and these details on our website, the acofpfoundation.org. We also know that this is a bit of a newer program, so we appreciate any help in spreading the word to your fellow residents and colleagues. If you're a program director, please encourage your residents to apply, promote the grant via your relevant communication channels, and ask your local AOA affiliate organizations to share with their members. Thank you all so much for your time. Here's my contact information, which I'll also drop in the chat as well. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me.
All right, thank you. Next up, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Eisman.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, I am a new attending as of a month ago. I took the early entry exam this past January. So I'm just going to talk really quickly about why I chose to do ABOFP and the early entry. So I chose to do a OBFP certification because for me, it was really important that I wanted to advocate for our profession as DOs to maintain the distinction between our MD counterparts. So I really just wanted to continue, supporting the DO profession. It was really important to me. Also, I wanted to take the OMT practical because there is a chance in the future that if laws change, you won't be able to bill or reimburse for doing OMT services if you're not board certified. So that's always a possibility. Nothing in the talks of that yet, of course, right now, but I just wanted to, have that down just in case. And also, just to say that you're board certified in OMM is pretty cool and can, set you apart from other applicants when you're applying for jobs. And I chose the early entry specifically because one, I wanted to take the exam early, get it out of the way. So I took it in January when normally you would take other boards in April. And that allowed me to focus on applying for jobs and interviewing. And it looked really good to have on my resume that I was already board certified. Also, the exam is much more affordable than taking the ABFM So the ABFM was $1,300 for the written exam, and the ABOFP was $400. So quite a bit more affordable. You know, with the student loan burden, that was awesome. Plus with the grant, it was free. So that was awesome. And it is a shorter exam, much less questions than ABFM. I am trying to remember exactly how many, but I think it was about 200 questions versus 400. So it was literally half the time. So that was nice. And then I was going to talk about just applying for the grant. It was very easy, just a straightforward application. I think that my residency program coordinator filled out a few documents for me to send, just saying that I had taken my 2 in-service exams. And then I applied for the reimbursement already for the written exam, and I already got my reimbursement for that. And I've signed up to take the OMT practical in October in Phoenix. So hopefully that is a go. If not, someone posted in the chat, will they do it virtual? I don't think they're going to ever do the practical virtual. They will, as far as I was told, it's always going to be in person. It'll just whenever it can happen. And then you'll still get reimbursed. Again, as far as I know, whenever you do take it, you just have to save your receipts. And then, so that was $500, and then the written is $400, so $900 total, but they give you $1,400 in the grant. So you do get the $500 for travel. So essentially I get to go to Phoenix for heavily discounted trip and take a quick OMT practical exam. So that's about all. If anyone has like specific questions, I can answer.
Thank you so much. Yes, it does look like we have some questions coming in the chat. So I'll ask the question and then whoever wants to answer that. So we'll go ahead and start with this first one here. It says, what if there is a maternity leave and graduation date is after August 31st, but have taken 2 ISC exams? Can they still take exams on time in January and March?
So I'll go ahead and answer that. Residents are eligible for the 2022 EEIC exam as long as they are in their 3rd year of residency at the time of application and have completed 2 in-service exams. Applications close December 15th, 2021. Those are our only requirements.
Great, thank you. I know that other one was answered, so we'll go to the next one here. Are there any other benefits for EEIC, like discount on OCC pathway?
No, but you automatically roll into the longitudinal assessment program, so you will never ever take another long, painful exam. So I consider that a benefit.
Thank you.
And also, I think that it is cheaper, the ABFM continued certification, from what I have researched.
It is.
I was going to mention that too.
Yeah, it is much cheaper.
Great, thank you. The next one that came in here, when can we apply for the January cognitive and March PE?
So you can apply right now for the January cognitive, the EEIC exam. Those applications opened up Monday, I think it was. So after this webinar, I would encourage you to. As for the March, I think we're going to be opening up those applications later this fall. So I would say like mid-September, early October, look for an email.
Thank you. Do you still have to do modules or just LCA?
So there are modules that need to be done, Kristen. Kristen is here with me from our certification staff, so she can correct me when I speak out of turn. Am I correct that there's still modules going to be done?
They're slowly phasing out. So we are, those with an 8-year certificate, once they complete their modules and are issued a new 9-year certificate, they will no longer have to do the modules through our website.
Great, thank you. The next one here, will the exam be administered at Prometric or professional testing site, or will we be able to take it, for example, at home like it was done last year?
we are 100% virtual now. So everything will be at home in your sweatpants.
Great, thank you. So I am not seeing any more in the chat, but we do have some that were asked prior to the webinar. So I'm going to go to those. So the first one we have here, this one says, concern for what if, there's a concern for what if the boards combine similar to ACGME residency match in the future. I'm not sure that what the question is, but we can speak more on that.
We can speak to it right now. There is absolutely no talk at all of that ever happening.
Great. Let's see here. We have, and I'm sorry if you already answered these. What are the other benefits of early entry certification versus traditional? How early is the early entry certification path? And then it says resources, question mark.
So I think we covered the benefits. So it's a shorter exam and it's a cheaper exam. And then, as Dr. Eisman said, once you graduate, you're certified. So those are the obvious benefits. I'm not sure what's meant by resources.
I'm not sure, they did not elaborate more on that one.
Okay.
So I guess we'll just go ahead and move on to the next one. So someone said, I'm sorry if I missed this, but is the OMT exam being offered this spring or only in October?
So it is being offered this spring in conjunction with the ACOFP annual meeting. I believe the dates are March 15th through the 17th.
Great, they're just rolling in here. If you take the cognitive test in January, but can't take the OMT test in March, are you eligible for the grant if you take the OMT test later in the calendar year?
Yeah, you're still eligible for the grant. You just need to make sure that you take both exams. Especially because of COVID, we've been reimbursing in 2 parts, and because we know that people are splitting the exams. So you're absolutely still eligible. You just need to make sure that you still intend to take the practical.
Thank you. This one says, I am an intern at a traditionally allopathic program. How can I take the osteopathic in-service exams?
Can answer that. You can either reach out to your residency coordinator and have them register you, or you can send them an email to me personally, judys@acofp.org, and I can help you out.
Great, thank you. The next one says, where is the OMT practical exam in 2022?
So in 2022, it will be held in conjunction with the ACOFP annual meeting, which I believe is at Austin or San Antonio, Texas. I'm not sure which.
Dallas, I believe.
Dallas.
Dallas,
Yeah.
okay. I knew it was in Texas someplace.
Let's see. Do you recommend any particular resources for studying for this exam? I know we have some that we offer on our e-learning center. So if you want to check that out, I can. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the only thing I did to study was just went over the last few years of the in-service exam. Just like went through and did the old exams that are fully accessible, and it was more than enough to be able to pass that. So
You can add to that. If you need to get copies of that, you should reach out to your residency coordinator or your program director, and they should be able to share that with you. Again, if there's any situation that you can't get it, you could reach out to me if you're a resident. And once again, it's Judy Schwellenbach and judys@acofp.org.
Great, thank you. Let me go back to this list here. Let's see. This one says, how have the OMT practicals been handled due to COVID? I know there have been delays on that. So how will this be addressed?
So there were delays last year simply because no one was allowed to gather. This year we have about 300 people taking the OMT exam in Phoenix. And we're continuing right along with accepting applications and testing.
Great, thank you. This one says, are there specific requirements for allopathic physicians who want to take the AOBFP exam?
So Kristen, I know we just discussed this today, actually. Would you like to take this question?
Yeah, it would be the same requirements. They would just have to submit their application and their documentation to us. In regards to your specific program, I would suggest reaching out to our office directly, so we can, answer those questions individually, based on your residency and training.
Thank you. Let's see. This one says, and again, I apologize if I repeat any. Are there any rules similar to ABFM with residents taking the cognitive or assessment at a different time due to multiple LOAs?
Is the question regarding leave of absence during your residency in order to take our exams?
That is all it says, so I'm not entirely sure. And this was one asked prior to the presentation, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the leave of absence, as long as your program director, signs off on, you will meet the requirements of all of your rotations, and you will have successfully completed 36 months of training in family medicine, then you would be able to sit for the exam as long as your completion date is within the window.
Great, thank you. Let's see here. I know we talked about some of this. I don't know if there's anything else we want to add. This one just says grants available for testing, deadline considerations in the implications of pandemic, and predictability of passing based on ISE. I don't know if anyone wants to touch on any of those.
So I do know that the ISE is strictly a formative assessment. And so there's not a passing, you pass or fail type thing. So as long as, to my knowledge, as long as you have taken two, you are still eligible to, for the early entry. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. Another one came in here. It says, will you be conducting these webinars yearly? As I am only an intern at this point, it would be a nice reminder to go through this each year.
Answer that one. Yeah, we're looking to host a joint webinar with AOBFP, hopefully annually, if not more. This is actually the second one we've done this year. We did another one back in May, so we're hoping to continue at least one or two annually.
Great, thank you. Oh, another one came in. It says, it just says ACOFP has done a study to evaluate ISE and board pass rate, and they do correlate. So thank you. We haven't received any more questions. I'll give it another minute here. And we did go through all the ones asked before the webinar. So see if anybody else has any questions before we wrap up. Someone is asking for the link to the study. I'm sure we can send it out. I think I know who was working on that study, so we can, not published yet, never mind. Okay, yes, so we have another question. How does the residency pass rate affect the splitting of the written and OMT portion exam?
That I really don't know the answer to.
I would say we would need a little bit more detail on what is meant by that.
Yeah.
Like to email our office, we definitely could provide a little bit more information for that.
Great, thank you. If anybody else has any more questions.
I just put in the link to the blog post I had for ACOFP with just like summarizing all the things I said in case people want to look at it later.
Thank you. What if they pass the written but not the practical exam?
And they would obtain certification in family medicine only.
Yeah. I'm not, maybe are they asking in how that applies to the grant funding?
So the grant, yeah, the grant you'll still be eligible for, but we only will cover the cost of one exam fee. So if you do decide to retake it, unfortunately, we can't reimburse for a second one.
Thank you. How are program directors being made aware of EEIC?
ACOFP has sent out several emails to program directors and residency coordinators regarding this, as well as this webinar. So we probably will be posting, I think, the webinar, I think, at some point to make it available to other people. So pass the word as well.
Great, thank you. We'll give it another minute. Are the OMM questions on the written portion? Or are there? Sorry.
Yes. It is very, very, very similar to the in-service exams.
And someone's asking, where can we access this webinar in the future? I believe we will send it out. Is that correct, Paige? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. Do those with 8-year certificates still need to take the high stakes exam again one more time, or just LCA now?
Only those expiring at the end of this calendar year will be taking the high stakes exam, and everyone will begin to roll into longitudinal assessment.
Thank you. Is this the last year for the 8-year certificate?
It is not. We have a couple more years left with those with 8-year certificates.
For those with 9-year certificates, do we still need to do a QI project every 3 years for component 4 of the certification?
Yes, that is still a requirement.
Thank you. We'll see if any more questions come in here. All right, well, I'm not seeing any more pop up. Oh, yep, we just had one. Where will the practical exam happen in the fall?
So this fall, it's being held in conjunction with OMED in Phoenix.
Great, thank you.
Oh, they meant fall 2022. That will also be in conjunction with OMED. I can't remember where it's being held, but every year the OMT exam is held in conjunction with OMED.
Thank you. All right, well, I think that about wraps up the questions. So this will conclude our webinar. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening, and a big thank you to our presenters. We really appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your evening.